Hey, welcome to my channel. Um, I want to say that in preface, I haven't watched every season. Quite honestly, I haven't watched every season, like last year's, where spoiler for those who haven't watched it, Ja Baines, actually a first Indian guy or brown dude, actually winning it for the first time. But more so, it was a shower. I was in the shower thought basically, where I was in the shower earlier today, and like it just came to my head about Big Brother. I'm like wondering, like, hey, who is the best or greatest Big Brother winner? Player and winner are two different things, but winner slash player, I would say. And I was looking at, like kind of remembering all the history, basically. I mean, I'll be honest, I watched Big Brother 2, season 2, through, I missed season 1 or missed most of season 1 because it was kind of hokey. Sorry, I didn't realize that I had to pause for a second. Got a phone call. Anyways, it was kind of hokey in some of those seasons. I mean, but me out for season 1 that was. And I'll admit the last 2 seasons I haven't watched entirely. I mean, I did watch Sailor Hale a little bit because based on the prior season of that, I didn't watch it with the barbecue. I think that's what the alarms was. I didn't really see all of that either. But more so to the point of like, it came down to, I was like, based on everything I've seen so far, and let's exclude celebrity, uh, Big Brother, but I have to say that from my perspective, I would have to say that oh, actually, you know what? Not even the best Big Brother winner. I would say the best Big Brother player. Forget it. Just put it out that best Big Brother player ever. I would have to say the man that I would go, and it might be a little controversial. You're welcome to put a comment in the comment section and let me know your thoughts about it. But it's Dan Giesling by far. Dan Giesling. Why? Because more so to the point where let's look back for a second. In the first one, when he was in season, I forgot the season he was in. Actually, to be honest with you, I think season 10. It was impressive what he had done, considering that things were going against him. Now, granted, he created the Renegades as a result, but the thing is, he knew how to play the game. He knew how to play the game. He basically learned it from Will. I would say from Will from season 2. Will was definitely a factor as at that point as well too. Quite honestly, I mean, Will Kirby. Some might say, okay, he might be the best actually because like, hey, he's the one that pretty much created the playbook practically that everyone realized. I would say yes, but let's look at facts for a second. This man basically went in one time, won, and went in the second time. Everyone knew that he had that opportunity to essentially, people had the opportunity essentially to get rid of him, pretty much, dump him. In that remaining season, which was, which one was it? Season 14, where he won against Ian Terry, when Ian Terry beat him. This is the one where like Dan was pretty much on the outskirts in that season. He was pretty much done for, and somehow he finagled his way into being the top two at that point, and he almost won. He could have won, honestly, because let's be honest. Ian got very lucky in some of those cases, and that's the only reason why he was there is because luck played a big factor more than anything else. Um, but then you could say it's like, well, yeah, but Will Kirby, like like he was like in there, and like he did really well in the other 2 seasons that he was in. Yes, but that other season, Mike Boogie basically won it, and it was because he was riding on Will that he was able to like essentially sort of distance himself a little bit from that perspective. And then the next second time, I mean, I believe he went on a second time. Um, I think at that point, I think he was tired with it, but in reality was he knew he can improve it, but everyone knew to get him off immediately because that second time around coming in with Boogie, to be honest, let's put it this way: if Mike Boogie wasn't there in that second round, it'd be interesting to see how far he would have gone. Because quite honestly, I don't think he would have gone that far because between those two, they could win the thing. They could, they were winning the competitions here and there, or even throwing competitions every now and then. But they were getting around it basically to the point where like that's the reason why I believed he won at that. But now some might say, well, what about Derek? Derek, I will not admit, knew what he was doing. He didn't sacrifice all his principles. He didn't follow the exact playbook like Dan or Will did, basically. Knew when to lie, but when also to be upfront with people. And the other factor is he knew who to make alliances with at that point as well too, and he knew how to play those alliances against each other. So let's be honest. I mean, It's great to see. It would have been interesting to see if he came in a second time around, another season, and see how he fares in that second season. Because quite honestly, I don't know how that works out from that perspective. Now, you could say also, well, wait, hold on. What about Cody? You're right. I'm not going to deny Cody because like the first time around, he went in with Derek. Second time around, he won it ultimately with Enzo basically. But the thing is, let's not forget the one big thing though with this guy. If it was mostly physical competitions more than anything else, and like he knew how to get around that physical competition, and everyone knew how to get around him or not get around him, but everyone knew, figured they could ignore him, be with them or be against him. If you were against him, like the people that he surrounded himself with became a dominant factor in that second game that he was in. And let's not forget the other factor is he basically learned from Enzo's team, the brigade, basically what to do. Like you just had to have three good physical players, maybe one smart brains, and go from there. In this situation, they knew him and Derek knew to like partner up with whomever at that point. But I will say this, like, yeah, I would give him a close second, because the fact is he went in a second time and he showed what he can do at that point. Now the other aspect is like, well, you could say like, like again, Dr. Kirby, Will, he should be the one because he created the playbook pretty much that everyone followed through. I would say yes, but in reality is like that playbook is now used by everyone else that he couldn't reinvent himself. He doesn't know how to reinvent himself from that aspect and to play the game. Now, there's one aspect that I would have said like initially I would have said like this is the one that should have been there because she knew how to play the game. In season 3, she knew how to play it perfectly. Problem was is like it just her downfall was because of the fact that she was giving too much information in the confessional, and because of her they had to change the game a little bit more, like to the point where the game changed considerably because of her, because now you had a jury sequestering at that point. Now from that perspective, I would say yeah, she should be the one that probably is the best player, but let's look about it this way: she did come in again another season for another season somewhere, and the same season as Will beat her out. She was kicked off immediately. So I don't know how well of a player she could have been if, everyone knew her playbook at that point as well, too, quite honestly. The problem is like Will had a playbook. He knew it. Everyone knew him. They figured they could take him along a little bit, and then, no one's going to give him the $500,000 or whatever it may be. But in reality is, I think after they saw him going further, they realized, all right, third time around, you got to get rid of him or whatever it may. And I think this one, in this situation, they had to get rid of Danielle from that perspective. And I would say Mike and Will played their part really well. Had she been smart, she should have aligned herself with Mike. Mike and Will, to the point like it would have been interesting to see how that worked out at that point. Now you're gonna also say like, well, wait, hold on, what about the queen bee? Honestly, you can say yes, but the problem is like, how many seasons has she been on where she's been close to the finals? She's only been at the top 4, top 3 at most, I think, if I remember correctly, but top 4 for sure. Has she ever been in the finals itself? No. The reason why I say this is, look, let's be honest. As good as she is, as Janelle is, I hate to say this, but like she doesn't deserve to be on there compared to, let's say, I'm trying to think of who else, because Nicole doesn't deserve it, quite honestly. I think she was just coattailing on quite a number of people. Jag probably made sense, but I haven't seen that episode, so that season, so I would have to see. But Hayden probably be more better. If you went between her and Hayden Moss, I think Hayden wins out outright altogether, always, constantly. If they put him in the same season every year time around, she's out first before Hayden, basically. So let's be honest with that. I'm trying to look of any other. Jun was just basically lucky. Lisa again, Donahue got lucky because of the fact of what was going on. Jun Sung. Drew. I think he got fortunate on that situation. Adam Jasinski. I think he was fortunate in that situation as well too, quite honestly. I think he was very fortunate. But in any case, like I said, I think the person that deserves to be the top number 1, who is the best player, is going to be Dan Giesling. Let's be honest. You can't deny the fact what he's done and what he's been able to do. If I would say number two would have to be Cody at that point. Cody's my number 2 at that point, quite honestly, because he plays a big factor from there as well too. So, I mean, if I'm ranking them, Dan is 1, Cody's number 2, and I would say, yeah, Dr. Will plays number 3. He's the third one because like he created the playbook. He pretty much created the playbook. These three, it would be interesting to see how these three would fare out though. Now again, I would say yeah, it would be great to see how Derek would play out with all these guys, but the reality is we don't know. I mean, honestly, now that everyone knows his secret of being, a detective or undercover officer, I think I don't think he would survive as much as per se this time around. So it'd be interesting to see if he did play a second season, another season, how well he would fare. But I'm pretty sure he would be kicked off immediately. But I'll leave it at that. Again, let me know your comments. Who do you think is the best Big Brother player? U.S. Big Brother player. I'll leave your comments in the comment section. I do respond to my comments. If they warrant a response, I do read them all, of course. And please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you like my video, like my content, and like my channel. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.